I got to download Google Chrome. Safari sucks.
Yeah, Chrome's a goat.
All right, we're live now. All right, 3, 2. What's up, guys? Welcome into episode number 15, the Checkerboard Check-In. Almost the full house tonight. We got D. Scott, Sawyer, and Keenan. What's going on, guys?
Howdy.
Pretty eventful week. Everybody's tired tonight, though. That's what Tennessee athletics will do to you. That and work, daily life will wear you out. But a lot to catch up on. No show last week, so we got 2 weeks worth of stuff to cram in. We'll start with football. Josh Heupel getting the first two recruits within 24 hours of each other. He made it official with Elijah Herring, outside linebacker out of Riverdale. First commit. It's good. It's an in-state kid, not a very highly rated kid, but a 3-star, could jump up to a 4, I think. Then was it this morning? You had Vincent Sneed, defensive end, like 6'5", 250, big dude. So it's good to get off. You don't have to zero anymore on that column on the recruiting rankings now. You're not up at the top of the board, but you've got the groundwork laid. What's y'all's thoughts on either guy?
I think the days of 6'3", 260-pound linebackers and 300-pound defensive linemen are over with this team. I think that probably left out the door with Pruitt's tenure. You want to get off the field and get this offense the ball back is basically the players they're going to recruit right now. So I think Vincent Sneed and Elijah, they fit that bill to a T. They're exactly the player this staff wants, and I think they're solid building blocks. And I like that they're going defense first. I like that a lot. You would have thought just the opposite, but I like that they're going defense first.
Sawyer, D. Scott, y'all got any thoughts on them?
I do. I did like the fact that Herring was an in-state kid and committed first, because that tells you that Heupel is, in fact, making the in-state class a priority. Now, like you said, he's not the highest-rated guy in the state, but you got to start somewhere. I mean, Rome wasn't built in a day, so I think it's a good stepping stone. And if I don't know, it's hard for me because, like we've said, he's not highly rated, and I don't want to trash the kid because I've never seen him play. I mean, who knows? He could come out and play like 5-star when he gets to Knoxville, but it's definitely a good start being in state. And I'm really excited to see where he goes from here, because we know that there's a lot of offensive prowess in this class in state. So see if we can get the other side of the ball rolling too on the recruiting trail.
He's a linebacker. We'll take any linebacker we can get right now. I mean, I know he doesn't come in until next year, but I mean, I think we discussed last time we were here, we've got long snappers getting reps at
we're in no position to be turning down linebackers right now.
Yeah, Sawyer's joining the team next week. I don't think y'all are here, but he's been recruited as well. That's what that's why he's got the collared shirt. He had a Zoom meeting earlier with them, so you have to forgive him.
Called me up. I had a talk with Mike Eckler. That was pretty interesting.
Is your chili hot?
My chili's been hot for
your chili's hot.
Yeah.
Now what?
I just imagine his meetings are like him asking people just to slap him in the face.
Yeah,
like really hard.
Walk in, slap him, walk out. No discussion, nothing. Just walk in, slap each other. See you on the field.
The flash power determines if you're ready to play in Knoxville.
Yeah. It's not. Would that be the worst coaching we've ever got?
No,
I don't think so. Apparently, I mean, that's come out the last couple of weeks here. Our defensive linemen haven't had any coaching in a year and a half. There was a special assistant coaching them, so who knows?
Yeah.
Dear God. Okay, who knows? Yeah, I mean, you got two recruits there. You're starting on the defensive side of the ball, like Sawyer said. I mean, it's not any highly rated guys. It's not like what we're about to get into with basketball here in a little bit, but it's a start. And it's like we've said, you're not going to get any big guys till you win games. So here we come, August, September, whenever the season starts. We'll move on to scrimmage. They've had a couple scrimmages now since we've talked last, and of course, the one position everybody's talking about rightfully is quarterback. I mean, when you've had quarterback play like we have here lately, it's the one that's going to draw the attention. I would like to come out and say I was one of the first ones that would say, what if Brian Maurer did win this job? Still don't think he does, but we were the first ones, boys. How does that feel?
It's more of a possibility than most people will probably, give it credence. The kid is, it just makes a lot of sense. He's a Florida kid, staff that, just got out of Florida. He runs that offense, that probably fits his play style, better than, I would say Harrison Bailey for instance. He can throw on the run and it may not happen, but, just based off the scrimmage, I think, that this staff is definitely giving it some thought and, maybe a lot of thought. I would love to see. I hate that Caden Salter is suspended right now because I would love to see, what he could be doing right now. But Hendon Hooker's still in it, and it's weird to say, but Bailey might be running, third right now. So I think Maurer is definitely in the conversation, and we've all seen him make plays before, and with a competent offensive staff, I think, he'd be able to make a little bit of noise. I really think so. So I'm not putting it to bed at all. I think it's a real possibility.
How crazy is that too? I mean, I know you mentioned Bailey possibly being third string now. How crazy of a thought is that this time last year, I mean, we were ready. I mean, he was the savior. That's how quick the world moves. I mean, he was the savior this program was supposed to be. You get a new coach now, and it's we kind of said it from the beginning. It doesn't really fit Heupel's scheme. Now he's come out and said that whoever the best guy is, they'll fit their scheme to that guy. But I mean, I struggle to think. I don't know. I'll get y'all's thoughts on it. If you have an A guy and then you have an A minus guy, and the A guy may have performed a little bit better all year in practice, but the A minus guy's almost right there, and he fits your system better. I mean, in that case, I wonder if Harrison Bailey, maybe if he doesn't get hot later, becomes one of the better guys on the team if he's still on the outside looking in. I mean,
I don't think we brought this staff in to I mean, I know what they said, but we brought this staff in to run their system, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to run their system.
In their first year or two, I don't see them molding their offense to try to fit somebody else's. I mean, that's why I think Bailey's on the outside looking in right now.
Yep, exactly.
Sawyer, D. Scott?
I think I can speak for everyone here and in Vol Nation when I say I'm just glad that I'm not going to say his name, but number 2 is not in the picture anymore. Yeah, so yay for that. But I mean, with new staff, you always think everybody's got a shot, and I mean, Brian Maurer really does have a shot, like it or not. I know. I think right after Heupel got hired, he tweeted something about, went and visited them senior year, really loved the campus, and I think he said he almost committed to Central Florida at that time. So, I mean, he's got familiarity. That's a leg up over Bailey or Hooker, I'm sure. But I said it when Pruitt got hired. I'll say it now. I'm going to trust him until they give me a reason not to. Now, granted, Pruitt gave me a lot of reasons not to trust him by throwing number 2 out there every week that he did. But, I mean, Heupel's numbers speak for themselves. So if he's got a guy that he thinks is best fit for his offense, best fit to run the team, by all means go with him. But I'd imagine that they're on not a short leash, but they're not, playing free either, if that makes any sense.
Right.
D. Scott, who you want out there?
I mean, I think Mauer definitely has a chance, like you said, with his familiarity. But I think as far as the way that college football is anymore, I'd rather probably have Hendon Hooker move around a little bit better, especially with the SEC having so much size and speed. We'll just have to see. Who really. I don't want to say buys in. Let's see who catches their stride, I guess, and then picks it up during spring practice. And I will see. I trust what they. It's like y'all said, Heupel's numbers speak for themselves, so I trust whoever he puts out there.
Yeah, ready for the spring game. I'm wondering if it's. I'm really more excited for the format, how Heupel's going to run it. You saw with Butch Jones, there was a lot of the gimmicks that really defined his whole tenure. But the spring game, it was you do this, you get a certain amount of points, this or this. It was like you're at an arcade more than a spring game, really. But then you saw kind of the opposite with Pruitt, where it was more just kind of not really show anything, hand the ball to the fourth string running back for the majority of the game, and that's about it. So excited to see how much Heupel's going to put out there, what it's going to look like, what the format is. But you got that coming up next week. After that, we're not going to have much to discuss for football, I think, for the majority of the summer. Then transitioning over, hopefully Barnes can keep pulling in recruits like he has the last couple of days, what everybody's really wanting to talk about. You've got Quentin Dubunje. I think I said that right. Last week, I believe, 3-star guard out of Montverde, the Flying Frenchman, Part 2. Very excited to see him play. He's not highly rated. I think Pons, when we got Pons, was a 4-star, barely. I think he was a 4-star, though. But you don't really know what you're going to get out of this guy. It's kind of like Pons. He looks like he could be kind of a freaky athlete. Looks like he can score decently, which is something Pons didn't have coming out. But you don't really know. So it's kind of exciting with him. But then the other two, you kind of know what you're going to get, and it's what we've desperately needed for this team. What we said all year we've needed, what we've said since Barnes got hired, since Kyle Alexander left, really, is you needed size. You needed some type of a post presence that wasn't hoping Pons could get over and block a shot or hoping that Fulke took a charge, something like that. So you went out a few days ago, you got Jonas Adu, the former Marquette center, 6'11", 7 foot, depending on where you look, can shoot from the outside, kind of one of the newer breed of big men. And then today you get Brandon Huntley Hatfield, a junior, but he's going to reclassify to the 21 class. And you've pulled in the number 2 class in the nation all of a sudden. You went from a couple weeks ago, this team had a few transfers. You're going to lose a couple to the draft. It was looking – we knew they were going to restock. We didn't know what it was going to look like now. And now has anybody had a better offseason in college basketball so far?
No, it's not even close.
No. And I think, we'd already addressed the other major concern as well, the point guard position, considering how inconsistent our point guard play was this past season. Vescovi and Victor Bailey, neither are true point guards. And, and the other half of the time we had our 2 5-star freshmen running the point. Neither of them were really point guards. But, it's kind of stupid to use the term useful 5-stars. But last year we had 5-stars, but you couldn't play them together because they play the same position. And they kind of just did, provided the same thing. So I think these maybe I should have used the term complement each other more in this class, the 5-stars, because I think they complement each other absolutely perfectly. Adu is a versatile big man. Huntley Hatfield is, he looks like a 30-year-old man already, and he is absolutely equipped to handle the SEC, handle the grind.
Yeah. I'm going to cut you off because I thought that same thing right there. What do they feed kids nowadays?
I have no idea.
This kid,
it's insane.
He's
It's
sick.
insane.
He's got to be maybe 17 right now. I mean, he's a junior in high school right now. And yet from the pictures I've seen of him, dude has a full beard and just is 6'9", 250 pounds. What is in the water nowadays? I just don't. I didn't see people like that when I was in high school. Now, I mean, that was like 4 years ago, but still, like,
and
what's going on with him?
It's ridiculous, but we're in a position now where we go from a weakness to a strength that in our front court, and it's exciting. It's really exciting. We went from having really no momentum on the recruiting trail to absolutely, like you said, maybe the hottest team in the country right now. I know we're number 2 on Rivals. The last time I looked, 247 hadn't updated yet, but it's something that's unprecedented. I think Barnes has 5 out of the top 8 recruits we've ever recruited, and that's insane to think about. And that's not even including the Admiral Schofield, Grant Williams team that overachieved to probably 2 more 5-star status with them. But we'll see if it translates. I think Barnes, despite all his recruiting prowess, has somewhat earned a little bit of criticism for how he's handled the talent and what he's done with the talent. So we'll see, but I'd rather take my chances with having the best talent available, and especially I think in this class, talent that absolutely complements each other and addresses presumably all the weaknesses that we had from the past season. So I'm excited about it.
Do we think Fulke comes back?
It seems that the door is absolutely wide open for him to come back. Where does he fit in is my question. If he comes back, does he start over Huntley Hatfield? That's going to be a tall order for Fulkerson, I think. So if he's willing to, take on maybe a lesser role for this team, which we all know Fulkerson, he's willing to do whatever he needs to do for this basketball program. So I think, if called upon and it matches his intentions, then I think it definitely could happen. And, he'd be an asset. And maybe, who knows, maybe he is more successful in that role, because this last season was really the first year that he was called upon to be an absolute frontline all SEC caliber player, and he really didn't seem like that suited him that well. So maybe a bench role or more of a backup role will suit him a little better.
Y'all's Fulke come back?
No.
I mean, he said he's either going pro or he's coming back, and God love him, but he's not NBA material, so I guess he's coming back.
And will he accept a lesser role? I mean, that's always something to think about. We love Fulke and we love his attitude, but that's kind of a tough pill to swallow when you've been, the heart and soul of this team for so long. But I think he would be well served to, swallow a little bit of pride and take on a lesser role, because I think he could be very, very useful in that role.
Sawyer put his stamp on it. He's coming back. D. Scott, you putting the same stamp?
No. I think he's going to try his hand. I think he's going to try his hand at going to the league and then not make it and potentially come back. Because I'm pretty sure you can do that in basketball too. So
Yeah.
you don't sign an agent.
You can declare without representation.
Yeah,
Yeah, I could see that.
I think
I could
that's
see Fulkerson making some money overseas as well. Maybe that's his future. He seems like he'd be a quality overseas player.
he'd probably do better, have a better career, professional career
Exactly.
overseas.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I think he comes back just because I don't know where else he really goes. Like you said, I mean, I think overseas would probably be his best option. Or if he does, though, yeah, I kind of wonder if a 6-man role doesn't benefit him more, to where he doesn't have all the pressure on him. He's not looked at as the guy, because I think that may have had some of the problem with him this year. So I want him back, but yeah, how does he fit in? From that, I guess we can do our starting 5 for this year on who you think it's going to be as of right now. Now, it doesn't look like we're done in the transfer portal. I mean, who knows? Our boy Mac McClung's in the transfer portal right now, it looks like. So
You still got Tomba from Knox Catholic too.
Yeah, I'd love to get the flying Mac attack back in here, but I'll go. We're going off start of the year. I'll go Chandler. Powell at the 1 and 2. I think they'll get both of them on the floor at the same time. I think I could see Vescovi coming off the bench more, just because I think Powell gives more athleticism there than Vescovi does, and doesn't really have a lot of drop off from what Vescovi does, really. So I'd go them 2 there. After that, though, it gets shady. I would say Adu's pretty. If he can come in and just look halfway decent, he's got to be starting at center. I mean, I would think. Kind of with Huntley Hatfield the same too. More difference there, just because if you do have Fulkerson, you got another option there. But that 3 spot's really the one where I could see a lot of openings there. You could go. I would say it's Josiah probably, but you've got a lot of opening there. Sawyer, who's your starting 5?
Well, basically what you just said. Like
same way.
My 3 is definitely Triple J, but I don't know.
That's what I was going to say as well. I just don't see a starting lineup that doesn't include Josiah Jordan James, considering he's our glue guy. He's our identity that Barnes has had since he's been there. He's the one who represents that the best. I see him as our starting 3 guard for sure.
You got, but everybody else, we're in agreement on that. D. Scott, what about you?
That's the wrong guy, brother.
Same thing. D. Scott just goes
basketball guy.
I am the furthest thing from the basketball guy in this group.
D. Scott's the good timer.
We got you on the Braves bandwagon. Now let's get you on our starting 5 bandwagon.
Yeah. Well, I'll work
maybe
on that. I'll do a little research.
Did you screw us over with the Braves this year? We're 5 and 8 right now. Was it you, D. Scott?
Oh yeah, we need.
No, because I haven't changed any of my baseball viewing tendencies, because I have watched a total of 0 games.
Okay, I was about to say, if you've been tuning in, then please stop. You're just causing me pain. You're just causing me pain and anxiety right now. Our boy,
I think
break his back.
I think for as far as basketball is concerned, our bench could be an exciting prospect too, considering it. How often do you have a bench that might be infinitely more experienced than your starting unit? When you think of Victor Bailey, Vescovi, Fulkerson, possibly coming off the bench, that's a very unique prospect. To have that much experience and talent too, but that much experience coming off your second unit. So I think that's an exciting prospect as far as this team is concerned, and it's a good problem to have. It's we all of a sudden are a deep basketball team again, and we all know Barnes will play 9 or 10 guys if he has them. So I fully expect to see that.
And that's the other thing with Barnes too. You can't get too caught up in who's starting, really. So It just comes down to who's playing more minutes in crunch time. That's why I think you could see Powell at point guard, Vescovi with Chandler coming off the bench. You could have Chandler, Vescovi, Powell. There's a lot of ways you could go there. But yeah, like you said, it's weird that your bench should be infinitely more experienced than it was last year. You should have a ton, not even a ton more options, just a ton more quality options there, I guess is the best way. Because, I mean, the guys that transferred, I mean, Gaines, Pember, Anasicki, Corey Walker. I mean, one guy didn't play at all. The other three, they're not playing much, and kind of when they were on the floor, it was either, hey, we're winning by a lot or we're losing by a lot. Euros hasn't done much. Now he'll be back, but I mean, that's the thing. Everybody was worried there for a while that we were losing guys, but it was kind of like, I mean, what are you losing really? I mean, I think Devontae Gaines had the most production out of anybody there. So
Yeah.
I don't think there was anywhere to go from up, or anywhere to go but up. And I mean, you've went up with, like we said, I don't think anybody's had a better offseason. It sounds like we're not done yet, too. I mean, there's still a ton of guys. I'd still love to get us the Eastern Carolina guard. What's his name? Oh, I can't ever remember his name.
Can't think of it off the top of my head.
But I mean, there's a ton of guys like that. I gotta find this. This is gonna kill me now. There's a ton of guys like that still out there, and I think that's kind of I don't want to say the new trend in basketball, but it's about to be the new trend in all sports, really. Because I mean, I know they just signed yesterday or today the rule to where you can transfer without sitting out. Now they're waiting on the conferences to approve that as well, and which is kind of going to be the biggest thing there, just because SEC, we've kind of seen that there's going to be some guys that want to swap in conference. That helps you some, that hurts you some. We don't know, but so far for basketball, I don't think it's hurt us any. I mean, and there's still, if I could find his name, and Mac McClung. I really want Mac McClung. He's just,
man, I would love Mac McClung. And I think we're starting to see Tennessee reach that next echelon, that next level where it's the same as the Kentuckys and the Dukes and the whatever of the world, where you got to manage this young talent for maybe even just 1 year and get it to gel and get it to be a cohesive unit by tournament time. And Tennessee's never done that. Tennessee's always been, develop the players, develop the 3 stars, develop the low 4 stars, and get them to be, a quality team by the time they end up, 3 or 4 years later. And that's just not the case anymore. We're seeing, talent that's not going to sit around for, some years and wait. We got to win now. You got to win now with the talent you have, and I think this team is very equipped to do that. I think it's a very, very balanced team, more so than last year's team. I think last year's team was a little guard heavy, and the front court lacked a pretty good bit last year. And I think Kennedy Chandler is going to be on another level. I've seen the kid play in person. He has so much awareness and just so much quickness. He reminds me of a Mike Conley, a young Mike Conley, actually. Is probably a good comparison for him. Which if he turns out like that, then I would be more than happy. But he's wise beyond his years, and I think he may have dropped to the number 2 point guard, and maybe because he's 6'1", but I don't think that's a concern at all. I think the kid is everything that Barnes wants in a point guard. He fits that TJ Ford, DJ Augustine mold that Barnes is accustomed to, and I think he's going to be an asset that can take us to a level hopefully that we haven't seen in a while. And I think this team's floor should be a Sweet 16 run this year.
Yeah.
And I think, sky's the limit at this point.
Jaden Gardner was his name, out of East Carolina. I couldn't remember. That was killing me. But yeah, I mean, you got guys like him out there that are still in the portal. I mean, it doesn't look done, like you said. I mean, I don't know if I'd go as far as to say what the ceiling or floor should be yet, just because I want to see what they look like coming out of practice, stuff like that. Just because we heard all that last year, and it became obvious that we had a ton of good players that just didn't gel. So I want to see that first. But yeah, I mean, with the talent we're bringing in, I don't know that I would put a cap on it. I mean, depending on how they play this year, who knows? That's all I had for basketball. Y'all got anything there? Anything we didn't touch on? You good? Okay. We'll go to baseball. I'm trying to get out early tonight. I think we're all exhausted. I know I am, if y'all are as tired as I am. Anyway, baseball, we had the bat flip episode 5 earlier today. Go check it out, but we'll talk about it here. Got the Vandy boys coming to town this weekend. You just beat Florida this last weekend, 2-1 in the series, almost swept them, and they were celebrating after the third game like they were world champions when they just avoided a sweep. So I don't know, but that's the life of a Florida Gator, I guess. Yeah, I mean, you handled them.
It's a nice change to have Florida having some moral victories against us for a change.
Yeah, champions of life down there in Gainesville.
Yes, exactly.
5-star hearts. I mean, this team's good. I mean, if you haven't watched the Tennessee basketball team, Tennessee baseball team, you got to watch them. I mean, they're the 28-6 on the year right now. They've won every SEC series they played so far. They're 4-0, first time since 1970 that's happened. You see it in ticket prices too. I mean, it's before they expanded capacity today. I mean, ticket prices were $200 if you could find tickets for a baseball game. I mean, I don't know if I mentioned it last show before, but somebody literally said on Twitter that when they were in college, they had to bribe students with free T-shirts to go to the games, and then a lot of the students would just get the T-shirt and leave, wouldn't even watch the game. So you've gone from that to $200 a seat now. I mean, part of that is due to the pandemic. I mean, they've got limited seating, but part of it is, I mean, people want to watch what this team is doing right now. I mean, you're going into a Vanderbilt series this weekend, number 3 in the country against the number 2 team in the country. And it's kind of what me and Landon were talking about earlier. Depending on what happens with Arkansas, who's number 1 against Texas A&M, if they lose that series, we look good and win this one. Who's to say Tennessee baseball is not the number 1 team in the country by this time next week? Now that I've said that probably won't happen because that's the dictator curse there. But I mean, it's going to be electric. I mean, you beat Florida, who was the preseason number 1 team, and now they've dropped back to 12, I think, something like that. But still a very good team. They're just a fun team to watch. I mean, they scored 14 against Western Carolina on Tuesday. Y'all got anything? I mean, they're just my main thing is biggest series Tennessee baseball's had in a long time this weekend, maybe ever this weekend. So I'll be there Saturday. What do y'all got?
I think, you said it. They're fun to watch. Nothing is too big for this team. A Vanderbilt series or a Florida series in the past would have been, the biggest moment ever. And now it's just another series to these guys. I think like you said, they're having fun. And I think that mainly is them taking on the personality of their coach. Vitello is a loose cannon. He's not a loose cannon. He's just a loose guy who, doesn't put a lot of pressure on people. And I think that's big in baseball. You don't want to make the moment too big for these players. And I think that's what they're getting right now. And you're seeing the results, of years of that finally starting to pay off. And I definitely think that they can win this series, and that would be just another notch on the belt of this program at this point, because that seems like every series is another milestone at this point. So it's exciting to watch. It really is.
Sorry.
Well, going in, you know what you're getting from Vanderbilt. I mean, you've got two of the top
Pitching.
5 draft
Yeah.
prospects in Leiter and Rocker, and Leiter's been virtually unhittable this year. So it'll be interesting to see how the bats respond. I think our pitching, honestly, is the biggest key to winning the series. I'll say that about any series, though, just because if you can't stop anybody, it doesn't matter how many you score yourself. So I think I said it the first few series, before we got into conference play, it's nice to win these games, but can we win the conference games? And so far, they've done exactly that. And I think they keep it going. I think they win the series, take at least 2 out of 3 in Knoxville. I mean, from what I can remember, this is the most highly anticipated Tennessee baseball series ever. So it should be a good time. I mean, to show that Vandy's the little brother like they are.
Always. D. Scott, our baseball expert, you got anything?
Yeah, I'm sitting here studying the numbers and everything.
Yeah.
Little what's the movie called? Moneyball, analysis right now.
There you go.
But no, I mean, I think it's winnable. I mean, on paper, their scores are a little more lopsided than ours are. And I mean, that's something to kind of worry about. But then you look at some of the common games, like, they lost twice to Georgia, like 14-1 and 9-1 or something like that. And, we beat Georgia twice, but we dropped one, a close one. I don't know. When you look at something like that, it's kind of worrisome. But at the same time, I do think they can persevere and, pull it out. Yeah, I mean, I'm the furthest thinker of an expert, but I mean, I definitely think it's doable. I don't think we're out of it. I mean, Vandy's a good program, but I don't think that Tennessee should let the hype of them, I guess, worry them, if that makes sense. What I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, Georgia.
Very slow right now, but yeah, no, Tennessee is definitely on the same caliber as them right now. So.
Yeah, I mean, Georgia roughed up Kumar Rocker in his last start last week. I know they hit 7 bombs total that game. I think 3 were off Rocker. I mean, he did not look like himself at all. I'll be there Saturday, so that should be when we'll get to see Jack Leiter. We'll probably have Will Heflin going. Saturday's normally kind of our more by committee approach, more bullpen arms. But it'd be exciting to watch Jack Leiter pitch. I mean, even though they're on the wrong team, they're still getting to watch guys like that look like they have every indication they're going to be studs at the major league level for a long time. I'm looking forward to watching it. That's for sure. Hope we can pull it out. How nice would it be to sweep Vanderbilt in baseball? I'm not going to get into it just because that you got to beat them 1 game first. It all starts Friday, but that would be take one thing away from Vanderbilt that they have, and that would just make me very happy. Almost as happy as this Florida series win did. I was praying to God we were going to sweep them. Almost did. Almost swept them. I mean, and I just hate them. I hate Florida so much. Hate them. But that's all I've got. Anything else y'all got? Nothing. Well, we'll wrap it up right there. A little bit shorter tonight, but I'm ready to go to bed. I'm an old man now.
I'm going to bed as soon as we get off.
That's been episode 15. Thanks for checking in with us, guys. Go Vols.
Go Vols.
Go Vols.